Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Otram's YouTube channel. Today we've got a 2006 Toyota Land Cruiser that needs a transmission drain and fill. So we're gonna get on that, and I realized I've never filmed that, so we're gonna do a video on it today. Before we get started, I just wanted to say, thanks to everybody that subscribed. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're interested in helping support the channel, we've got a membership option that gives you early access to the videos. As I film and edit them, they go up on the members page before they go up on the regular page. Anyway, without further ado, let me move the camera under here and we'll get started. So, because this truck is one of the newer non-dipstick models, you've got a drain plug here that is a 14mm head. This is the check plug. It's a 5mm hex. And then up here on the side of the transmission where I can't get you a good view is the fill plug, and it's a 24mm socket. Before you drain anything, you want to make sure that you can actually get all of these loose. So we're going to reach up here with a 24mm socket. We're going to crack that guy loose. And it's basically, if you follow the front edge of this trans cross member up, it's right behind there's a parting line on the transmission case. It's right behind that. It's the only 24mm socket up there. So it's kind of hard to miss. And we're gonna take a 14. We're gonna crack that. This one with the 5mm hex is the one that can be tricky. And I don't know if it's gonna focus. I really like these grip edge sockets, or this one's actually a Matco or Mac RBRT, but the grip edge ones are supposedly the same thing, but they grip those sockets better. Because being a 5mm, it's real easy to strip that out. So you want a really good snug fitting bit in there. Okay, so we've got everything loose. And now I've got a jug. It's actually one of our oil-filled jugs that's graduated with measurements. I like to drain into one of these rather than just straight into my drain pan. One, because it lets me see the condition of the fluid, and two, it lets me measure what comes out, so I know how much to put back in, so I'm not doing as many dances with resetting the fluid level. And you also want to make sure that you've got the drain plug gaskets for these on hand before you start, because they're a funky size, readily available at Toyota, but they're an oddball size. So I'm going to let this drain, and then we'll come back. So that's all done draining. I've got a new drain plug gasket for my drain plug. I'm gonna wipe that surface off so it's clean and put my drain plug back in here. And I'm gonna tighten that up to 15 foot-pounds. And I'm also gonna slightly snug this check plug back, just because I don't want it to drip while we're doing our refill. And we got just shy of 3 quarts out, and the fluid in this didn't actually look all that bad. So my next step, I'm gonna come over here to the side, and that's a little too snug to do it by hand. I'm going to pull this fill plug completely out. And sometimes these can be kind of tricky to get out by hand, so you end up undoing them completely with a ratchet, and it looks like this one's going to be that way. Instead of a gasket, this has a rubber O-ring on it, and the rubber O-ring likes to stick in the threads and make it sticky to come off. But this is the fill plug that you're looking for. It's a big 24. It's the only one that looks like this on the side. So we've got that out. The fun part with doing these is you've got to pump the new fluid into the side. So I've got this MightyVac fluid pump. I've got this MightyVac fluid pump. And then I've got an adapter set that goes with it. This one's the only one I really ever use out of it. But this threads in where we just took that drain plug out. And it's a pain because on each one of these, Toyota has something like right next to the fill plug. Like this one, it's the shift lever or shift rod. You know, a lot of them, it's like the catalytic converter heat shield or something. But you can never get a nice straight shot on here. But we're gonna thread that adapter in. And then I'm going to go fill up my jug. And we drained just shy of 3 quarts out. So I'm gonna put 4 quarts in this. I'm gonna put an extra quart in here. When you go to check the fluid level, if you put in the exact amount that you took out, sometimes it's not enough to trickle out of the fill plug. And you end up adding a little bit more fluid to make sure you're full, but then you've got to wait for that to get up to temperature again, blah, blah, blah. So I usually put some extra in initially, bring all that up to temperature, and then just drain the excess out through the check port. It seems to speed up the process of doing this dance back and forth. So let me fill this up and I'll bring you back to pump that in. Okay, so I've got my jug filled up and I'm gonna hook my quick connect onto the adapter there. And then I'm just gonna pump all this in. And this truck, you know, I drained about 3 quarts out. I'd like to do more of the fluid quantity than that in a change. So like I said, I'm putting 4 quarts back in, which will get me a little bit more in the grand scheme of things while I'm doing this, changed out. But what I will likely do is actually run this process twice. Like I'll pump this in, I'll start it up, get it all circulated, drain that out, pump another batch in, get it all circulated, and then set my final level. So I'm gonna pump all this in, and it takes a while because, you know, we're pumping a gallon of oil through a really small hose. Once this is done pumping in, I'll bring you back to show how to check the temperature, and we'll start warming this up, and then we'll check the level. So I'll be back in just a bit. Okay, so I've finished cycling new fluid through this, pumped my last batch in, took my adapter off the side and put the fill plug back in, torqued it to 25 foot-pounds. I've got the engine running. It's currently in park. I ran it through all the gears, pausing, you know, in each gear for a couple of seconds, ran back and forth through the sequence a couple of times just to get everything moved through the valve body. And now, I don't know if you're going to be able to read this or not, I've got my scan tool with my temperatures up, and I've got AT oil temp 1 at 101 degrees right now, and temp 2's at 106. We want to be between 115 and 133. So, you know, I like to shoot for the middle of that. So we're going to let this warm up for a while longer until we get closer to, say, like 120, 122 on both of them. And then we'll pull this fill plug and let it drain down to the proper level. Because behind this plug, there's a tube that goes up into the trans. And when the fluid's at the right temperature, it expands up, and when you pull this plug out, it just kind of overflows out of this until it gets to the right level inside the pan, and then we can close this. So let me let it warm up some, and we'll come back and check that. And depending on how warm the engine, trans, everything was when you started this, it can take quite a while to get up to temperature. On the flip side of that, if somebody just drove in from a long ways away and the engine and trans are really hot, sometimes you gotta let it cool a bit before you can check the temp. It's a lot of fun. I don't know why they got rid of the dipstick. It was so much easier. Okay, so I finally got my temperatures in range. I'm at 116 on temp 1, 128 on temp 2. So we can go ahead and pull the check plug. And if we've done this right, we're going to get fluid out. And like I said before, I put roughly an extra quart in there to come back out. And once that gets down to a dribble, come on. Come on. There we go. Once we get down to a trickle, we'll put that plug back in, and then we'll torque that one to 15 foot-pounds as well. And then I'll lower this down, take it for a test drive, make sure all the shifting is good, make sure my temperatures are good, and this one will be all set. So that was changing trans fluid on a newer Land Cruiser 100 Series LX470 that doesn't have the dipstick under the hood. If you found that useful, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.